The eyes of the world turned to Kursk, Russia, as smoke billowed into the sky from a military base. This wasn't just any target. This was retaliation. Ukraine, in a bold move, had struck back after a devastating missile attack on the city of Sumy. Their target, the 448th Missile Brigade, believed to be responsible for the Sumy attack. The images were striking. A raging fire engulfed the base, fueled by a secondary detonation of ammunition. The message was clear. Ukraine would not stand idly by in the face of Russian aggression. The attack on the 448th was more than just a military operation. It was a powerful symbol of defiance, a refusal to be intimidated. This wasn't the only target. The 112th Guards Missile Brigade in Ivanovo was also hit by a Ukrainian drone, resulting in a large explosion. These strikes marked a significant escalation in the conflict, demonstrating Ukraine's increasing ability to take the fight to Russian soil. While the full extent of the damage is yet to be confirmed, one thing is certain: Ukraine has drawn a line in the sand. The attack on Kursk serves as a potent reminder that this war is far from over. It is a stark warning that Russia cannot act with impunity. The joyous atmosphere of Palm Sunday was shattered in Sumy, Ukraine. 2 Russian Iskander ballistic missiles, weapons of indiscriminate destruction, rained down upon the city. The aftermath was horrific. Buildings were reduced to rubble, and the streets were filled with the cries of the wounded. The death toll painted a grim picture of the attack's brutality. At least 34 civilians, including 2 innocent children, lost their lives. Over 100 more were injured, many with life-altering injuries. The attack on Sumy was a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict, a tragedy etched in the hearts of Ukrainians. Kirilo Budanov, Ukraine's military intelligence chief, didn't mince words. He labeled the attack a war crime, a sentiment echoed by many international observers. The targeting of civilians, particularly on a religious holiday, was a clear violation of international law. Despite the undeniable evidence, Russian state television peddled a different narrative. They dismissed the attack as fabricated, a desperate attempt to garner international sympathy. This blatant disregard for the truth, a hallmark of the Kremlin's propaganda machine, further inflamed tensions. The world watched in horror as Sumy became yet another tragic chapter in this senseless war. The devastating attack on Sumy underscored a critical vulnerability for Ukraine: the lack of adequate air defense systems. President Zelensky, in a direct and impassioned plea to NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, emphasized the urgency of the situation. Every day that passes without strengthened air defenses means more lives lost, more families torn apart, Zelensky stated, his voice heavy with emotion. He stressed that Ukraine needed more than just words of support. It needed concrete action to protect its skies from Russian aggression. Rutte, standing alongside Zelensky in Odessa, reaffirmed NATO's unwavering support for Ukraine. He assured Zelensky that the alliance would continue to provide military aid, including training and equipment. However, the question of providing advanced air defense systems remained a point of contention. Zelensky argued that such systems were essential to deter further Russian attacks and protect Ukrainian civilians. He maintained that a strong air defense was not just about protecting Ukraine, but about safeguarding the principles of democracy and freedom that Russia sought to undermine. The international community, while largely condemning the attack on Sumy, remained divided on how to respond to Russia's increasingly aggressive actions. The Trump administration, in a move that sparked criticism, blocked a G7 statement condemning the strike. Their rationale? To preserve negotiation space with Russia. This decision drew sharp rebukes from many European leaders, who saw it as a sign of weakness and a betrayal of Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff found themselves in the midst of tense discussions in Paris, attempting to bridge the widening gap between the U.S. and its European allies. The situation in Ukraine had become a tinderbox, with the potential to ignite a wider conflict. The attack on Sumy, and Ukraine's subsequent retaliation, highlighted the high stakes involved. The world watched with bated breath, hoping for a diplomatic solution, but bracing for the possibility of further escalation. The conflict in Ukraine was no longer just a regional crisis. It was a global concern. It tested the resolve of alliances, exposed deep divisions within the international community, and raised profound questions about the future of global security.